if you want something that looks good but you don't have any money, just look for people who are on the come up or someone who likes your music, and if you guys get along, then either you pay them or you don't pay them. But once you've decided like, how is this going to benefit you to work on my video,
right, then
the collaboration should work. If you just come as the artist and like, I want to do this, that, and the other, I need you to do this, and then I want this look, and you're going to ask someone to work for free or for barely any money, that's where it becomes a problem, because then you're just bossing somebody around, and who says your idea is good in the first place? So it really, really depends.
Welcome everyone to Fya Sidechats. Today we have a wonderful and exceptional guest joining us today, Abdul Malik Abbott, a visionary filmmaker and storyteller. Abdul has carved his name in the music and film industries through his groundbreaking work. He directed the iconic music video Streets is Watching, starring Jay-Z, which not only topped the Billboard charts, but also redefined the music video landscape. With a rich background that includes directing the hip-hop drama State of Property and collaborating with numerous artists, Abdul brings a unique blend of artistry and narrative to every project. Raised in Harlem and shaped by the vibrant world of hip-hop, Abdul began his journey as a member of the Boys Choir of Harlem and later honed his skills at the School of Visual Arts. His portfolio spans award-winning music videos, thought-provoking short films, and compelling multimedia productions, showcasing his ability to weave powerful stories across various platforms. Today, we'll dive into Abdul's creative process, explore the art of storytelling, and uncover insights that can inspire independent artists to elevate their crafts. So join me, y'all, in welcoming the talented Abdul Malik Abbott. Welcome, everyone, to Fya Sidechats. I am here with the one and the only Abdul Malik Abbott, and we are about to get into something really great for you guys today. The topic actually for today is creating beyond the music, how to tell a story from the sound waves to the silver screen. Join me, everyone, into welcoming Abdul to Fya Sidechats. My God.
All right. I always call State Property.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Just in case you want to look for it. It's State Property. Not number two. They did two of them, but I did one of them.
Okay. That's fire. I'm sitting here trying to catch my breath for how long your accolades are. I was like, my God, as I continue to read through, I'm like, goodness.
That means I've just been around for a while. Thank God for that.
God is good.
Yes,
God
indeed.
is good. And so I'm super excited to have you here. I want us to jump straight into it. Being that the theme is creating beyond the music, because you are not only a fabulous musician, but you create beyond the music as it relates to music videos and artistry and being a filmmaker and a great storyteller in the process. So with that involved, I know that we often talk about the importance of storytelling in film, but so many artists overlook how crucial it is to have storytelling in music, painting a vivid picture for the listener through sounds and lyrics. You've had such a dynamic career, being a part of the Boys Choir of Harlem, directing iconic music videos. How did you come to realize the power of storytelling in music? And how has that kind of shaped your creative vision, both as a director and a musician?
I would give the credit to MTV. I'm from the MTV generation, and thank you for having me, by the way. I'm from the MTV generation, so when I saw like the first few music videos, I was like, this is for me. So when I saw another movie that came out that actually inspired me, was Streets of Fire, which is by Walter Hill, who did 48 Hours and The Warriors. they had this one intro it was cut to music, and I really was digging it. I was, the song was okay, but just the visuals looked really cool. And I was like, that's something I can do. I want to edit. So that was a feature film, and it was told through music, even though it wasn't a musical, but they had a lot of music in it. And they had the MTV style of editing. So that's kind of was the beginning of me really wanting to go down that road.
That is so excellent. So as you start off in the beginning and then you're getting into music, I know we were talking a little bit behind the stage about kind of where you started off. Give us a background of how you started off your journey into film, into music production, and then even creating Boss, and going into depth a little bit about that.
Well, that one question could take hours to answer. So I'll just start in the simple part of high school, which was, I went to Music and Art High School, which was a very obviously artistic driven high school, but I was also there with up-and-comers or people who were really good. So, for example, Slick Rick was in my school. Dana Dane was in my class. A lot of people who were just behind the scenes was in my class, a lot of musicians. So I was around the best. I was dealing with the best. So at that point, I didn't really play any instruments. I was just all into music. But that was really coming from my love for music. And it was told through the music that my family played, to be honest with you. So, I'm listening to what will be now the classics. My mother's generation had the best music as far as I'm concerned. So the music from the 70s, to me, I mean, she's a little older, but still, that was the music I remembered hearing, the music coming from the 70s. So when I got into really being a musician, that's the stuff I would go back and listen to, like Isaac Hayes, Barry White, Earth, Wind and Fire, Chic. Chic is like #1 on the list of just like what inspired me to want to be a bass player. So Bernard Edwards played for Chic, and that was the guy. Like that's the guy that I modeled myself after, as well as the bass player for Sade. Those are the two people that pretty much defined my bass playing style. And I can only look up to other bass players like Marcus Miller, but I could never even touch Marcus Miller. But I met him.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you? 'Cause I know they always say never meet your heroes. Like, how was it for you? Was it really cool?
I mean, we're going off topic, but it was cool because literally I was at a screening for a movie. He did the soundtrack, and he was just waiting in line to get a drink, and I knew who he was. And not everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
But he has a specific look. He had his hat on, and he was just chilling, and I was like, I could just talk to him, and he was very open to it, and like just being able to communicate the fact that I appreciated his artistry. But I had also worked with him back in the day. Like, he had a band called the Jamaica Boys. So I know I worked on at least 2 videos. So I was able to be like, hey, I worked on your video, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I still got the photo too. I look like a little baby holding the slate. And you can see Marcus in I'll probably get you that picture. But, it's just like you meet these people, but I'm very kind of even keeled. So, I don't make people freak out like, oh my God, there's a crazy fan, even though I'm a fan, but I'm not going to act crazy.
Of course.
I'll give you your props, but I'm not going to make you embarrassed. And I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Right, exactly.
That's the one thing you're not going to find me doing.
Right. And at the end of the day, we all human. I just have to ask that. That's so cool. It's cool meeting your mentors and different things, people that inspire you.
I mean, that's just one person. We can talk about a bunch. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, okay. So moving forward, I know that you've worked on Jay-Z Streets is Watching. And that was groundbreaking, the work you did for that. Can you kind of recount the creative process behind that project and any unexpected challenges you faced?
When Streets is Watching came out, basically that was a project that was created by Jay-Z, Damon Dash, Shaka Pilgrim, based off of the songs that Jay was about to put out on his new album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, and some songs from Reasonable Doubt. So basically what had happened, I had already done a bunch of Jay-Z videos, by the way, and this video was right before they were about to sign with Def Jam. Actually, they did sign with Def Jam at that time, and they had did a video, sorry, using bad English, they did a video featuring Foxy Brown, Jay-Z, and Babyface, Sunshine. And the video was very pop. It was Hype Williams, very pop, and wide angle lens and colors, and I think they were on a a roller coaster. So it wasn't street, and Jay-Z was street. Jay-Z was a street cat, but he was more sophisticated, but he was a sophisticated street artist. So they needed to do something that was bring back his street fans, because they weren't feeling that video at the time.
Right.
So they were like, okay, we're gonna do Streets is Watching, which was gonna be a long form music video that was only for sale. It wasn't really, we took the single and put it out, but the song Streets is Watching, but basically it was gonna be like a video album with skits in between the music videos.
Right.
So basically that was something that they decided to do. We're gonna do stuff in the strip club. We're gonna do stuff with Jay-Z hustling in New Jersey. We're gonna do something where, he's dealing with, sucker MCs or whatever, whatever these guys were. And it had a little sense of humor in it, and it also has some personal stories that Jay was talking about where he got into some beef with his brother. And, it was a story, but it wasn't a movie where the script was from the beginning to the middle to the end. It was it was literally an album with skits in it. So that was the whole idea. And that was something that took a lot of planning, because it wasn't done on digital, it was done on 35 millimeter film. And we basically needed to make it look cinematic, because at that time people were not doing video phone type projects. Everything had to look good. In the industry at the time, there was always people trying to one up the next person. So either you're gonna do it where it's super flashy, or you're gonna do it where it's grimy. But if it's grimy, it can't look grimy. You just gotta have a feeling of being grimy. And when I say grimy, I mean street and dangerous or whatever. So it was a balance. Like you had to take the content, put it in the genre that it was supposed to be, but you still had to make sure that it's not, some janky looking, out of focus, 6 to 8 millimeter type of movie. We had to go to the top of the well, we couldn't do 70 millimeter, so we did 35 millimeter.
That's excellent. So how did that experience, and then also I know with your band Boss, you've created multiple music videos for that, just kind of merging the storytelling of your music to the films that you're making for your music, and then also as it relates to Jay-Z and what you've done for him. How did the art of storytelling for that project, and then also stuff that you've done for yourself, kind of turn you into who you are today?
That's an interesting question. I mean, it really didn't, to be honest with you, because stuff is genre related. So I would just take a broad stroke at everything and say, well, my love for music helped create certain aspects of my life that still come out with music behind it, but still each project it's its own project.
Right.
So the only thing that hasn't changed is my taste in bass players and bass. Loving bass, that was the one thing, but also my love for music by John Williams, which is a composer who did all the Star Wars stuff and Jaws and Close Encounters. So that music actually always helped drive my music because of the cinematic soundscape that it has. So I was always a big soundtrack fan, or I would even say nerd, because not many people in Harlem were listening to the soundtrack of Superman or whatever, but still that sort of was the underlying taste of music that has strings and stuff like the orchestra stuff. So that was somewhat that shaped me as a music fan. I can't play that stuff, but you'll hear hints of that in my music.
Right.
But the goal working with my own stuff is just to put stuff out that I like.
Right.
And
hopefully somebody likes it too.
Yeah, if they don't, that's fine. But the thing is, I'm a big Sade fan from the beginning till now. I mean, I was a kid not a kid, but I was kind of a kid when she came out. And still today, that's the most played music on my, set of, I guess, my iPod or whatever. My library would be Sade and Seal and Marvin Gaye.
Oh, I love Marvin Gaye. It's funny, we actually, we interviewed Nolan Shahid, which is his music director.
Oh, okay.
And It's just so cool, like hearing that. It's like kind of merging together.
And then there was other there's 3 more producers who, all I can say is this helped, and that would be Barry White, and that's because he puts a lot of strings into stuff, and he has rhythm and melodies. Isaac Hayes, which put a lot of like soul behind everything, and Trevor Horn, who came out with the first music video ever as an artist. Video killed him, the radio star. But he went on to produce so many other artists, including Seal, and he basically has this soundscape that I can only dream of mimicking. And he's an older cat now for sure. I just saw him playing bass with Seal. He had his own set this year, I think, at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh wow, that's so dope.
Or maybe it was last year. But anyway, I just saw him playing, after all these years. The guy's just up there playing his songs, because he has a lot of songs he did with other artists, not really with his own band, but with other artists. And then he did a set with Seal, doing all of the Seal songs. So that's what I did, what I like.
That's fire. Okay, so you've directed both music videos and feature films. How does storytelling differ between the 2 formats, if they do at all?
I mean, they do and they don't. I mean, the feature film I directed was state property, and that was music related because it was music artists that were playing all the roles. So in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, we're limited to, one, the budget, but we're also limited to the fact that they're rappers. So they have a persona that they're trying to put out on film. So we have to stick with that. And so I've done other projects, but just not feature film, that have nothing to do with music and doesn't deal with rappers or anything like that. So both of those long form projects still had that music feel to. I don't think I'll ever not deal with music.
Right.
Because it's just, to me, they go hand in hand, filmmaking and music.
They do.
So it's really like, are you going to create it or are you just going to use it? But either way, I'm still going to use it. So that's kind of like how they still stick together.
Okay. And based off of that, what intent do you think that other music artists should have when telling a good story through their music, as it relates to like their lyrics and then music production?
Well, the music production doesn't have to be anything that's telling a story. It's really your lyrics. Because you can have.
Don't you think that like the music production, in a sense, kind of like backs up the story?
Oh no! I'm not saying it is not related, but I'm just saying you can have someone like a George Michael, rest in peace, where he'll strip down his music to like a simple drum pattern and electronic sounds on purpose, but still be able to tell a story through his lyrics and melodies. Or you can take another artist like, Mary J. Blige, who can tell stories and using samples, feel music. Like, I think she does a lot of sampling or music that feels like another song. She's telling stories. Sade tells stories. It's really, but it's the lyrics. But of course, you can not have anybody singing and tell a story with the music.
Right.
But I'm just saying within, the question, that was sort of like, it wasn't the music, it was the words.
Right.
So for other artists, like, tell the story, like, say something interesting. I mean, I'm not going to start ragging on lyrics today, but some of them are like, okay, well, if you can't say it in front of your mother, then
you probably shouldn't be saying it.
Right. So there's so many artists out there like Rashawn Patterson and people who I really respect, Shaka Khan, who they'll just have a song, they'll tell the story within that song, and then they move on to the next and the next and the next. A lot of people are good like that, like Usher. Like he'll have something to say, and then he'll do something pop and something, that's just a fun song. So it really depends on the mood.
Right.
But to answer your question, at least be able to do it, be able to write a song, and be able to get the audience involved where it's just not popping it and dancing. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you feel like that's something that can be learned, or is that something that people just have to have? Like, if they're coming from an approach of like trying to tell a story through their lyrics, is that something that they can learn? If you have an artist that's like, okay, I'm trying to develop my lyrics, I know I'm not there yet, you know what I'm saying? It's just popping it, and popping it is fun for a time, but every now and then we want to get a little more meat in there. Do you think that that's a skill that can be learned or nurtured, or is that something you just have?
No, I think you can. It's because it's just words. So if you know how to put the words together, you can tell a story. Especially if it's something you experienced, or you know someone who experienced it. It shouldn't be that difficult to rhyme something with something else and just tell a story versus something else. I'm trying not to put anybody under the bus, so I'm just not going to say anything.
You're trying to be careful with your words.
Right. So I think the bottom line is to be able to tell a story.
Okay.
As well as, even using it as poetry, what I mean? It doesn't have to be that deep, but you can go deep because as a writer, the world is your oyster. You can write anything.
Right.
And if you're the one who's going to say it, all you have to do is say it. You don't have to do anything more except do it. Where if you're doing a movie, you got to bring it to life. You got to have a crew, camera, and actors. You have the perfect example of an artist by being an artist. And you can say something being an artist without putting much effort into it except what's in your head and put it on paper or in the computer, however you want to record it.
Right. That's fine. All right. So with the rise of digital content, and I know we were talking, you don't like that.
I don't like the word content, but anyway.
With the rise of digital content, bear with me. What advice would you give to independent artists looking to create something that's compelling as it relates to their music videos on a limited budget? Are there maybe any specific techniques or visuals that can kind of elevate a project without breaking the bank?
Yes and no. I mean, one, I'm not a big fan of just shooting with your phone, but that has nothing to do with me. It's just I don't do that. But because there's a certain look I'm used to when it comes to the film. But if you know how to use that phone as a tool, then why not use it? So it really just depends on the song and the artist and how compelling you are as an artist, because you can literally do a cool video in front of a white backdrop or a black backdrop and it could just be you.
Right.
With no edits. I think what was that D'Angelo video where he's half naked, but nobody cared. He was literally just singing his song.
Yeah.
And that video was a hit. I mean, obviously the guy was in shape and blah blah blah, and the song was good. So the artist was compelling, the song was good, and at the time he looked good to some people. I mean, if you're into that. But the thing was, that's the simplest example.
Yeah.
Or even like, moving this out the way and just having a white psych and you perform, as long as the song's good and as long as you give a compelling performance and hopefully you look good to people, you don't have to go crazy with it. You can keep it simple. And these people are doing stuff with, when those videos, they had budgets, but they decided to strip it down. So it really depends. It's open. Like you can do it. You can go out of control and just shoot everything you possibly can to throw it into the video. But if the song sucks, then people can just turn the music down and just watch it. So obviously you want to have a good song,
right? And
keeping in mind that the video is there to sell the song.
Right.
It's just a commercial for your song. So however you want to sell it, it's up to you. If you don't have any money these days, it's still cool. I mean, I've shot videos for Boss, my band, and I call in favors. I can't say I did it all by myself, but one of the videos I did do it almost all by myself. My friend Mark did a couple of shots for me because I had to be in the video. But most of it I did on my own, but I did that on purpose. Like, I just want to say I did it by myself. Minus the 3 shots that Mark came in and operated the camera, but I was still the director, the DP, the editor, the producer, the bass player, keyboard player, guitar player, and anything you can think of. And that video I shot for 5 days, but I had a budget of 0. So, but I had equipment, or I borrowed equipment and cashed in favors.
Basically just getting creative.
Yeah. I mean, the creativity is a little easier now with digital production. So that's a plus for the artists. It's not a plus for the people trying to make money doing it. Because you ain't got no money. So you can't pay nobody. But it's a plus for the artist because you can get stuff done.
Right.
Like we're doing this now, and if you had to like pay people, it's going to be a pain in the butt. But if you own all the equipment and you know you can edit it,
then you're good.
You can just do it.
Yeah.
You ain't got to wait for anybody.
It's learning. Well, that's fire. Okay. So I know that collaboration is an important process. How can new artists find and connect with the right people, like directors and cinematographers, when creating like their music videos or different things like that, to improve their video projects?
I mean, I think you just got to research and find like-minded people. Obviously, if you have money, then you can do whatever you want. But if you don't have money, just finding like-minded people who want to invest in your project, because their time and their energy and their equipment is an investment. So obviously, if you want something that looks good but you don't have any money, just look for people who are on the come up, or someone who likes your music. I mean, there's so many different ways to figure that part out. But first you want to find someone who is just as enthused as you are to creating something. And if you guys get along, then either you pay them or you don't pay them. But once you've decided, like, how is this going to benefit you to work on my video,
right, then
the collaboration should work. If the person's like, well, I'm a DP and I want to do a hot video and I want to do this part, I really want something like this on my reel, and you as the artist was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool, and this person's is so enthused to do it, let him do what he wants, or her do what she wants, and hopefully your collaboration will be beneficial to everybody,
right?
Because everyone gets something out of the deal. Now, if you just come as the artist and like, I want to do this, that, and the other, I need you to do this, and then I want this look, and you're going to ask someone to work for free or for barely any money, that's where it becomes a problem, because then you're just bossing somebody around, and who says your idea is good in the first place? So it really depends.
Right. So they should go in like with an offer in mind on how it can benefit them as well, so everyone can.
Well, yeah, the visuals are beneficial to people who get involved and work on it, like your art directors, hairstylists, makeup artists, wardrobe person, DP, people who can get something out of it. Visually on the music video is limited because the producer would get most of the credit, or the artist, and that's kind of it.
Right.
So the goal would be to collaborate visually with people, and be open to other people's ideas, especially if they're bringing stuff to the table. Mm-hmm. You just got to be somewhat flexible a little bit.
Right.
Because in reality, sometimes when there were budgets and I'm trying to tell people, oh, this is my concept and let's do this, they might have been thinking about something else, but my idea might be better.
Right.
So as long as they don't steal my idea, and as long as I tell them this is what I want to do, and they're like, oh, that sounds cool, I wasn't thinking about this, I just wanted to do a party, so, because there's been several videos that I did where they just wanted to do a party.
Right.
And I was like, but everyone does that.
Let's be different.
Let's do something different, let's tell a story. So that was my thing, I wasn't, even though I've done some videos where there's like, girls shaking it in the camera, that was not my thing. Like, everybody else was already doing it, and they were doing it well, so I'm not gonna just keep doing that,
right,
even though I wanna make money, but I still wanna be an artist and tell a story. That was always my thing. So that's why I was Streets is Watching helped, or even there's other videos where there's tons of other artists I work with too, but most of the videos I've done, there's a storyline that's interwoven into it.
Right.
So, there's a lot of car stuff, and it's usually like some drama stuff, but it's all good though. That's just how I like it. So there's like this one scene from the movie Heat that I did twice, and actually maybe 3 times, or maybe just twice in a video. And everyone just likes that vibe, you know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the movie, but no. Oh, it was with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Val Kilmer.
In the playlist for tonight.
Yes, it's a good movie though. It's a heist movie. It's about these guys robbing a bank, and it's a really good movie. I might have to watch that tonight. But it's like, that's like one of those classic movies that will never go away. Like, it's always gonna be the top 10 bank heist movies.
Right.
And I think even movie that Ice Cube's son did, Den of Thieves, was really like a homage to Heat. It came out like 2 years ago, and it was also a LA bank heist movie. They're doing a sequel. It's going to be out soon. It's called Den of Thieves. And I'm not pitching these people's movies. So I get
That's how you know we really like it. Huh?
I just really like them, and they just do it well. That's all.
Okay. Alrighty. What are some common mistakes that you see independent artists doing in the industry today when it relates to like music, creating a story, and then also planning and orchestrating their visuals?
Well, a couple things in there, but I think the first thing is just know what your persona is, like who you are.
Right.
Like, I don't have to be Abdul Malik Abbott on the Boss video, even though I'm the same person as DJ Abby Ab. It's just my persona for the music part. So I look like this. I got the Yankee hat. I mean, this is a look that I had to figure out. Okay, this is your look. So you just got to kind of figure out who you are and how you want to portray yourself to the audience. You don't have to be the same person once the video's done, but just depending on what you want out of the deal, because you can control it because you're independent.
Right. So
you're the record label. You're the A&R. You can put whatever you want out there, but if you're gonna be fake about it, that's where it gets a little weird. Like, that's not really you. You're not really balling like that. You can't be balling like that and be doing this cheap video. You know what I mean? Which one is it?
And it's kind of crazy because I feel like we can kind of feel that as an audience when it's fake. You know what I'm saying? We can feel that as an audience when it's fake. And so, how do you stay authentic to yourself as DJ Ab and in Boss?
I mean, it's easy for me to do that because I'm just sitting there playing bass and playing the keyboards or whatever.
Just vibing.
So I don't have to be the singer. So Natalie's the singer, so she has to be out front. So to me, it's easy. I wouldn't be the good example because I don't really do anything too much in the video except be the musician. That's always the point. I'm always trying to make, oh, look, it's a real bass. This is not a synth bass. This is a real bass. Is it really me playing the keyboards or someone else playing the keyboards? And is someone really playing the guitar? It's not a sample. So it's just showing that authenticity as just wanting to be a musician and trying to hold on to that musicianship with other musicians. But like I said, it's really hard to do a full answer on that because everything is different for different artists. I personally just don't like when people overly sexualize themselves so fast. Now, if you're gonna be that artist, that's fine, but there's gotta be some give and take on that because it just gets a little bit too much. Like, all your goodies out right now is like, you just give it all away.
Right.
Especially if you put it on Instagram or something where you're not making any money off of it. So it's almost like if you're gonna be that, tease it out a little bit, just don't go for it all. So it kind of feels a little desperate, some of the stuff that I see these days.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff is just cool. Like some of it's not even, they're just laid back and chill, which is cool, or you're hyped up and energetic, that's even cool too. But I think there's a middle ground on being authentic. You got to find your authenticity as well as your artistry and then sell records at the same time, or sell singles or downloads or streams or whatever. You got to sell, or at least get some sort of recognition from your art.